Alright, let's dive into something that's got the renewable energy world buzzing. A massive wind project in Tasmania that's aiming to be Australia's biggest. But here's the kicker. It's not just about the size. This project is a perfect case study for the complexities of balancing green energy goals with environmental and cultural concerns. So let's break it down. First off, the sheer scale of this thing is mind-blowing. We're talking up to 280 turbines, each towering up to 250 meters tall. That's like 80-story buildings spinning in the wind. And these aren't your average turbines. They're the most powerful ever proposed in Australia, with a capacity of up to 10 megawatts each. Personally, I think this is a game-changer for renewable energy, but it also raises a ton of questions. Like, how do you even build something this big? And what's the environmental footprint of a project this massive? What makes this really interesting is the location. The Whaleback Ridge wind farm is slated for Tasmania's northwest renewable energy zone, an area known for its strong winds. But here's the catch. It's also part of the Tarkine wilderness, a region celebrated for its biodiversity and cultural significance. This isn't just any forest. It's home to species like the blue-winged parrot and has deep ties to indigenous heritage. So while the project could help Tasmania hit its ambitious 200% renewable energy target by 2040, it's also stepping into a minefield of conservation and cultural concerns. In my opinion, this is where things get really nuanced. On one hand, we desperately need projects like this to combat climate change. But on the other, we can't ignore the potential impact on ecosystems and indigenous sites. The developers claim they've minimized environmental harm, pointing to low bird densities in the area. But if you take a step back and think about it, even a low-impact project on a massive scale can still have significant effects. It's like saying a small leak isn't a problem, until you realize it's in a dam holding back a flood. One thing that immediately stands out is how this project reflects a broader trend in renewable energy: the tension between scale and sustainability. We're in this weird place where we need massive projects to meet our energy demands, but those same projects often come with environmental trade-offs. What many people don't realize is that renewable energy isn't inherently harmless. Wind farms can disrupt bird migration, alter landscapes, and even affect local communities. So, while I'm all for clean energy, I think we need to be having more honest conversations about these trade-offs. Another detail I find fascinating is the project's phased approach. The first phase is only 288 to 432 megawatts, which is still huge but more manageable for Tasmania's grid. But the full 2.8 gigawatt plan? That's a whole different beast. It would require either major upgrades to the grid or significant industrial demand to justify. This raises a deeper question. Are we building these projects to meet current needs? Or are we future-proofing for a world that might not exist yet? It's a fine line between ambition and overreach. From my perspective, this project is a microcosm of the challenges we face in the renewable energy transition. It's not just about building turbines. It's about doing it in a way that respects the environment, honors indigenous heritage, and makes economic sense. What this really suggests is that we need a more holistic approach to renewable energy, one that considers not just the megawatts but the ecosystems, communities, and cultures they impact. So here's my closing thought. As we cheer on projects like Whaleback Ridge, let's also ask the tough questions. Are we sacrificing too much in the name of progress? And how do we ensure that the green energy revolution doesn't leave anyone or anything behind? Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this project a step forward or a step too far? Let's keep the conversation going.